Hey friends, it's Missy again. Thanks so much for stopping by today. I have a new layout to share for Hip Kit Club, and I'm using the 2019 July kits. And I thought that I would start this page with some of the travel themed elements and just do something a little out of my comfort zone and try to focus on a lot of the blues in the kits. It's full of pinks and oranges and yellows, but I thought I would try to pull out some of the blues and scrap this photo. This is a travel photo of me and my husband, my sister, and my brother-in-law from a few years ago in Las Vegas. And it's definitely not my typical go-to type of photo. The colors in it are a little bit different. It's more of a what I would call a darker photo, but I thought I would try to make it work and use some of the different elements that revolve around travel in the kits. And even though there's a lot of pinks and oranges and yellows, there are different papers and bits and pieces with different shades of blue. So I thought that I would try to focus on some of the blues. Now, let me go ahead and warn you that this layout is going to completely change about halfway through this video. I'm going to wind up changing photos and just changing direction completely. But I wanted to show you how the layout began and how my thought process changed and how it's okay to give yourself permission to change your mind. You know, we always say it's good to take on a challenge and go outside your comfort zone, but sometimes it just doesn't work, you know, and the more I went with this, the more I was just not happy with it, and so I changed it. Okay, so let me kind of talk about what I'm doing and why I changed my mind. So you just saw me rip that pink Fresh Studio paper. I wanted the spot with the blue on it, and I just stuck it to some white cardstock and then coated it with some white gesso because I am going to add mixed media to this. Now this blue color we get in the color kit this month. It's from Lindy's Stamp Gang. It's very, very bold, and it's called Blue Hawaiian Blue, and it's a starburst spray. And I wanted to mimic the soft blue here, not a really dark bold blue. So I'm spraying it lightly, adding a lot of water, and just kind of letting it run and blend and smudge. And my thought was to have sort of the blue watercolor kind of coming down in a little vertical area here. Now I wasn't getting the exact color that I wanted, so I pulled out a couple of shimmer sprays that we've gotten in previous kits months ago. That's a little bit of a darker blue color. It's called Deep Blue Sea. I think we might have gotten that last fall at some point, but I like the mix of these. And then I wanted to kind of also tie in a little bit of that periwinkle soft blue color, so I pulled out the Shimmers Frostbite that we also got earlier this year or maybe even last year. It's a really pretty periwinkle-ish color blue. And so I'm just going to mix those two shimmers with the Lindy's Stamp Gang blue to create a couple different shades and just to really pull the blue from the photo and then the blue from the top of this paper here. So there is a little bit of pink here, and in the kits there's a ton of orange and orangey yellow shades. So I want to sort of create a little bit of that on my background. So I'm going to mix the other two colors that we get this month, the pink and the yellow. The yellow is called Yellow Rose of Texas, and the pink is Hibiscus Rose. And they are all very bold, so a little bit will go a long way. Now, I splattered the yellow, and some of it landed on a spot where I did not use gesso, and if you noticed, it soaked immediately right through the page, and I could not dab any of it up. And it was definitely not the exact shade of yellow that I was going for. So I'm taking the pink. I believe that's the pink that we got a few months ago. It's more of a softer pink. I also used that one, and it's called Cotton Candy Pink. And I just dabbed it right on top of the yellow to kind of create more of that orangey yellow color. And I'm going to do the same thing here. I'm going to mix some of the pinks with the yellows and just sort of extend that pink color over to the left. And that's a really good way to get that orangey color, is to mix the pink and the yellow together. Add some water, let it run and blend, and then let it dry. So I love how that looks. And I think the reason I wind up changing my mind on this is because this layout or this background is just, it's so soft and dreamy. And I felt like my photo was just so dark. And it was, I don't know, the more I made this background, it was just not feeling like a travel themed background. Do you see what I mean? The colors worked great. You just saw me drip a little bit of white acrylic paint on there. I just wanted to soften up the color a little bit, and so that's all I'm doing there. But yeah, I'm still going with this particular photo here, and I thought that I would try to make it work. It's a photo of me and my husband, my sister, and her husband, and we went to Las Vegas a couple of years ago, and we got a limo from the airport to our hotel. And so this is just a picture of us standing in front of the limo. So these are a lot of the chipboard sheet or chipboard stickers, excuse me, that we get from Cartabella, and they match. I really like the blue adventure piece. I love that little airplane. I'm just pulling off everything that would kind of match. But I don't know, I'm just not feeling it. I think it's because a lot of these chipboard pieces are kind of more on the cutesy side, and I feel like my background is more artsy and whimsical, and I don't know, I just was not feeling them together. I don't know if you're understanding what I'm saying, or maybe you're agreeing or disagreeing, but this was just kind of what I was thinking as I was making this. I tried to keep going with it, and like I said, the colors matched, but something just was not vibing for me. And I feel like when I give it this much time and I try and it's just not working, I don't want to keep going on a photo or a layout that's just, I'm not liking it for whatever reason. I love the background, but I feel like when I change the photo, it just completely changes. And I think maybe I just wasn't in the mood to create a travel layout. I tried to force it on myself to be in the mood to create a travel page, and I don't know, it just wasn't happening. I tried to use this. This is one of a piece of one of our cut files from this month, the one that says "too cool for my shades." I thought that I would use the word "cool" somewhere on this layout because this was a cool experience, and so I thought that I would incorporate that into my title. And I do want to use some of these rub-ons from One Canoe 2. And I'm going to use this big floral piece over here to the right. And I feel like this was something else. I like the way this looks, but I thought, this really isn't a floral type of photo. And I didn't want to really want to use flowers with an airplane and a little banner. I don't know. Maybe I'm repeating myself, but yeah, it just wasn't flowing. I'm still going. I'm trying to make it work. I really like the way cool and fun looks mixed together. But yeah, I don't know. So I'm still going to try to make it work. I wanted to use all these little travel pieces and mix and match it with the Pink Fresh Studio Just a Little Lovely pieces. And I actually work on this and I leave it overnight. And I thought, okay, maybe you'll like it tomorrow if you take a break, give your eyes a rest, and then look at it the next day with fresh eyes, and you may get a different idea. Or, that's what I was telling myself. So I did sleep on it, I guess you would say. And this is not bad. I do like the way it looks, but I didn't love it. And, I really want to love what I'm making. So here's the next day. I thought, okay, let's give it one more shot. Let's fussy cut some pink. Let's add some pink. So I went to this Pink Fresh Studio paper and fussy cut out some flowers, and it just was not working. So I took another break and I came back and I said, okay, start over. I hadn't glued anything down. So I went through my archives and found this very old picture of Paige. This is from, I believe, 2011. Yeah, she was just a little thing here. And her shirt was the perfect color to pull out more of the blue on the background. And notice I also turned the background so it's more of a vertical design instead of horizontal. And this was instantly much easier for me to get in the zone. And this page came together really quickly. Totally different. Definitely not travel related. And I don't know, I guess sometimes my mood changes or things don't turn out like I envision it in my mind. And a lot of times I can just keep working with it and make it work in the end. But then in this case, it just didn't work. So here's what I came up with instead. And I'm much happier with this. So I thought that I would put the photo on top of where the papers overlap, or where the big tear is, and then kind of insert little fussy cut pieces along that torn edge. I thought since I had that rub-on up at the top, I would add another rub-on down here, and this is another floral piece. And I like the different, I'm not really using it necessarily for the floral aspect, but mainly for the color and just the interest. I like that copper color. Kind of, it just flows nicely with the peaches and the yellows and the pinks, I think. So I still wanted to pull in some blues, and so I went for the back side of the Pink Fresh Studio paper that I tore for the background, and it's got this really pretty white and periwinkle, almost like a tile shape, and I thought I would just cut the circles out of it and scatter those a little bit around the background. And then I like this much better. I just feel like it's just lighter and softer, and it just matches the feel of the page. It matches the watercolor background, the feel of it. It's just soft and feminine and not really harsh and travel themed. Not that travel theme is harsh, but just the colors were darker and sharper. And yeah, it was like two different elements kind of trying to be forced together on the same page. Whereas here, I feel like I can go feminine and floral and yeah, just kind of continue to fussy cut pieces. This is from the Echo Park paper. On the back side of those flowers is the pink and white stripes. I'm going to punch a big heart out of this Pocket Life card that says Hello Sunshine, and I'm going to use that as a big embellishment, kind of like a big die cut over on the right to kind of take up some of that blue watercolor area. And then now that yellow really pops. Here's some more fussy cutting. This is a Bella Boulevard paper, and I'm just going to fussy cut out some of these yellow and white shapes and scatter those around also to add little pops of yellow. And then I'm going to start to glue things down. Some of these things I'm going to glue flat to the page, and some of them I'm going to add some adhesive foam behind to raise them up off the page a little bit. And even though some of these shapes are, you know, they're kind of random, I like the pops of color that they give, and I still feel like that it adds to the soft feel of everything. I am going to add in some thread. I pulled out some not hot pink, more of the bubblegum pink color over to the left, and then a little bit of a periwinkle blue over here. It's a little bit of a darker shade, and I just want it kind of peeking out from underneath that white flower just to add a little pop of that color there. It kind of matches her shirt. And I am going to raise the heart up with some adhesive foam. And this flower here. And my photo is also raised up with some adhesive foam. I decided to go with a blue title, and I'm going to use Sweet. That is from Just a Little Lovely from Pink Fresh Studio, and I love that it's a darker blue. And then I'm just going to add her name, Sweet Paige. The very general title, but it works, and I always like the chance to use my girls' names in a title if it works, and so I thought her name went well with Sweet. And then these are also from Pink Fresh Studio, Just a Little Lovely. I'm going to add in a couple of those really pretty watercolor wash on those. And then a little bit more splatter here with the Frostbite, just to mimic the color of her shirt. And then I'm almost done here. I'm going to add in some lines with my pencil, and then I'm going to use my gold metallic pen. And I've had that for a while. I got that at Michael's several years ago, and so far so good. It's still going strong. I do add in a little bit of gold splatters. That's the Minor 49er shimmers that we got a while back, and I did add the date. But yeah, that's the final layout. I'm much happier with this, but I didn't want to cut the other part out because I wanted to show you how things change, how people can change their minds, and it's perfectly fine. I think that you should do what makes you happy, and you know, if you're not satisfied with something, then change it up. And that's exactly what I did here. There's no sense in being frustrated over something if you're not loving it. But anyway, here are all the details. I hope you guys enjoyed this process and that you understand how my mind was working. Let me know if you have any questions. Make sure you check out hipkitclub.net. The August kits were just revealed and they are gorgeous as always. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video.